This is my first Zoom call, I think.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, I've done conference calls. I don't think I've ever done a Zoom though.
Yeah, this is I got used to this during the COVID thing, So now it's like second nature to me. But
Oh,
let's
I know. I see it on sports. Everybody just keeps doing it on split screen now, and everybody
yeah,
just stays home. And I
yeah,
mean, why not?
it's convenient. Oh yeah. All right, man.
It's
That's awesome. Yeah. It's one of my favorite bands.
yeah,
Especially how they went about um basically getting famous. They were brilliant about it. They used to literally rent limousines to their shows. So it seems like, whoever was showing up, people would think that it was like a big deal.
Oh, really?
No, those
That's
guys were
funny.
brilliant, man. I love them. And I just saw something with Paul Stanley recently where he was talking about how, our perception is our reality, the way
Yeah,
we perceive things. And, he's very inspirational still to this.
yeah.
You're probably one of the most friendly rock guys that I've ever met, man. You know,
Really? Thank you.
you're very down to earth, and I did do some reading up on you, and I read that about you that you're very humble and you're down to earth, and
Oh,
that's
really?
an awesome quality, man. So
Good.
what inspired you to pursue a career in music? I mean, what got you into the whole, you know, what gave you the bug?
Probably started with grabbing or finding albums like REO Speedwagon and Journey and Styx, Foreigner, and starting to listen to those. And then MTV came along, and then Motley Crue came on, and I was like, "Oh shit, what is this?" And
Yeah,
then I went to the girls. I'm fast forwarding really fast, but then I
yeah,
went to see Girls, 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 and Whitesnake opened up for them, and
well,
Tommy Lee is spinning on the cage, the lights, and I was like, "That's it."
yeah.
I mean, and I'm watching other people go to work in the morning. I'm like, no, 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 I can't do that. I got to do this. So that's really what started it.
Yeah.
And I just loved Tommy Lee's groove, and I fell in love with the drums. That's really what did it for me. But yeah,
So it was probably because of all the cocaine he was on, he had
probably.
messed it up.
It's funny is I got to meet him at Des Moines Airport
Mhm.
after the show. My brother, he's 10 years older than me. He took him. He used to work there as a lineman,
Mhm.
and so I got to meet them as the limo pulled up. We're standing out by their jet, and then they came out, and I got to meet them. I don't, I don't know if I was 15 or what I was, but yeah, and just after that, I was just like, yeah, I was just.
So that's when you got into playing drums. So did you learn
Well,
how?
I had dabbled in it before, but once I saw that Motley Crue concert, it was full force. After that, I just
Right.
that was it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So before, but I always liked music.
Yeah.
But
What's interesting is that you go from REO Speedwagon, Styx, bands like that to StoneSour, for example. Like,
yeah,
how do you go from that transition? I know I'm jumping ahead myself, but
no, you're fine. And I'll tell you exactly how it happened is I always loved a great melody, and I loved one of my favorite albums was High Infidelity, REO, and I always loved stuff like that. So then once I met Corey and we started a band, we were doing more rock and roll, and then Slipknot ended up forming and taking Corey,
yeah,
and then I get Corey back, and then we formed StoneSour, and now StoneSour is like, and by total coincidence, I've been working more on the double bass thing,
hmm
and sure enough, we got him back, and he starts yelling more, and it just slowly gets more and more aggressive. So that's why that first album, you hear like a song like "Take the Number," it's
yeah,
really just rock, and then you got "Get Inside" and
yeah.
"Water" that's just
Mhm.
fucking pedal to the ground.
That's one of my favorites too. I love that song, man.
Which
That's
one?
Get Inside. Oh, that's so
Yeah,
30, 30, 150. That's
Yeah,
all.
that was the second album,
Oh,
30,
was
30,
it?
one
Yeah.
fifty. But yeah, Get Inside was a similar vibe to it
So
with the double
killer.
bass.
Yeah.
But
So, do you know what kind of inspired that direction for you guys to get so much heavier?
Josh was a newer guitar player at that time, and he was writing, and he had written Get Inside.
Right.
So then I put the double bass to it, and then and did all that. And same with Blotter, Orchids. There's a lot. Josh had a library of stuff that
Right.
he came to the table with that were just he was good at he was really good at just writing just by himself. Me, I got to have other people around, but
Yeah.
he'd have it all built and go here, and yeah, and that's how we got Get Inside going, and all those. It just started with him, and then I put the drums to it. Corey, Sean, and the rest of them were off doing Slipknot tour.
Right.
So then they came back, and then we said, here's Josh and I were like, here's what we got. And they chimed in, and then I'd never written an album like that before, pieces like that. It'd always been all of us together.
Right.
But
Awesome.
yeah,
That's awesome. So, how did you end up, if you don't mind, me asking, how did you end up hooking up with Corey? I mean, he's one of my favorite singers, actually, of this kind of era.
yeah,
He's so versatile.
yeah, he is. There's nothing that guy can't do.
Yeah.
We met through a mutual friend named Denny, and it started where Denny was a guitar player. So it was Denny, Corey, and I. And Denny and Corey used to always go to this Rocky Horror Picture Show uh, type of thing. I don't know if you guys have it out where you're at, where everybody would always go on the weekends. And
Well, there
so,
at one time, yeah.
yeah, yeah. And then, yeah, so that's Denny's called me and said, hey, I got somebody I want you to meet. And then us three sat down, we started writing. And
Nice.
I'd never written with a singer that could do what he does. And the thing that just killed me about him is you could give him one guitar note or two, or just something so bland,
Yeah.
and he would be like, hold on a second. And he'd just sit there and start writing. All right, play that again. And then he would have this whole, I'm like, how the hell did you get all that out of that? His imagination is just brilliant.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, he can go all over the map like that. And yeah, so we started writing, and then Denny was looking in a different direction, and Corey and I were on the same page. And Corey and I went through a lot of different musicians that way, where we just were on a different page, and it was nothing against them. I just sometimes it's hard to get, being in a band, it's hard to get four or five guys that are all on the same page.
Chemistry is difficult.
It's tough.
Well, you seem like you're pretty easygoing, so I can imagine it was probably easy to get along with you. But I've had the same problems, with like one of my previous bands where we're all good at what we do, and when we get together, we can write some kick-ass material, but I can't fucking stand them,
Right.
I hang out with them. I don't want to do nothing other than just practice with them. Beyond that, unfortunately, where are you now? If you're a Patriots fan, are you still like somewhere in East Bumfuck, Iowa, or
Yeah, I'm just outside of Des Moines,
mm-hmm.
and the whole with being a Patriots fan is Isaac, my son that that passed of cancer. He was a big Randy Moss fan, so that's really where it all started. My wife and I and Isaac, we'd sit and watch the Patriots, and then so after he passed, we kept watching it, and it just stuck. And now I'm just everybody's gone, as far as the Brady and everybody, but I look at their podcasts and seeing what's going to happen. So far, it's not good.
You're a true fan, if you can stick with them through that. It's like me with the Yankees. I don't care if they're doing shitty or whatever. I'm still always going to be a Yankees fan,
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Now, you were talking about your son, and I know that this is a very, sensitive topic for you. And, I think it's beautiful that you you also formed a band named after him, Isaac James. Can you tell me a little bit about that band and the what's going on with that? Are you planning on doing anything with that, or how did that come?
Right now we're not doing anything. It basically just ran its course. We played a lot of big shows and festivals, and how it all came to be was a manager contacted me and wanted to know if I would go to Kansas City to audition for this singer. And he pulled together this group of people, and we just didn't. We none of us were on the same page with the singer.
Yeah.
But one of the guitar players he got was an amazing singer, and we were all on the same page. So we had Isaac James and then this singer that we're all supposed to back. So we all left, and then we just became Isaac James. And then and it just the singer was good. He was just very much on a different page than the rest of us, And um, so and then as far as naming it, we named it Isaac James because obviously that was his first and middle name. Yeah. But we were writing down ideas. My wife got really pissed off at me. She goes, "You're going to make these guys feel like they have to name the Isaac James." And so I made it really clear to him. I said, "Look, the whole reason I thought of that was I had no idea Leonard Skinner was their teacher. That name. I didn't know that forever, and it made me think of Isaac." And how, maybe we could do that. But I made it very clear to the guys. I go, "You're not going to break my heart if we don't use his name." And I had a lot of other ideas too. And they were like, he is why we met, So, it worked out. And it was a neat deal too, because the crowd would be yelling at Blackie, who's our singer, and be going, "Isaac," and they had and it took years. And people would come up and go, "Dude, I just figured out. I learned who Isaac was." So it was that little hidden gem in the band too that was kind of neat,
Way to honor.
Yeah.
I couldn't even imagine trying to get through that, Honestly.
Yeah.
God bless you, man. For real.
Thank you. We got through it. I mean, it always leaves a hole in you, something that devastating. But we got through it, and it's just one step at a time, and you just learn how to. It sounds weird to say it, but anybody going through something traumatic like that, you come out the other end. You won't feel like you will, but you will, And it's amazing how it works, because when it was so bad, you feel like you're on autopilot. And I get people who talk to me going, "I don't even know how you're standing here talking to me right now." And that's how I don't know how I was, but I mean, I guess when you have to, you'd be amazed at what the human body will do, Yeah. I didn't have a choice, but you get through it, you do come out the other end. And boy, you learn a lot through a traumatic time like that. That's for sure. About yourself, about others, and so on. With Isaac James, we just kept it with everybody do what you do, and then let's just let it gel together how it is. And it worked. I mean, we had a lot of different musicians that liked metal and jazz, and so it worked.
Variety of different influences in there.
Yeah. And that was a neat thing with StoneSour too, is we had a lot of different people that like different things, and it was great to. I never wanted to be in a band where everybody likes the same band.
Yeah.
I've always said you put 4 Led Zeppelin fans in a room and form a band, you're going to get Led Zeppelin every time, which is great.
Yeah. That's what I can relate to you, because the guys that I was in a band with were into Slipknot and some of the really, really, some of the harder core stuff that I can't even think of some of the names, but and I'm more of a 80s guy, I grew up with like Randy Rhoads and shit like that. So a different mix to it. So when we got together to write, I basically had to adapt to what their talents were, I guess. And as we came together, and it created something that, in my personal opinion, was something awesome, and I absolutely I loved it, but certain.
You guys have a lot of great songs, that's for sure.
Oh, you got to check some of them out, bud?
You're talking about the ones that were in the email.
Yeah.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely, yeah.
And yeah,
Yeah.
and you mentioned, which is kind of on the next topic, is that what you're doing kind of currently is making people aware that you're available to tour, right? So
Yeah.
I don't understand why you just don't come up with your own project again, or if it's just easier to fit into another project already established.
Well, the thing is once you're get in your 50s, I'm 51 years old. I mean, labels and a lot of these companies, they're not interested in bringing something new up. It's and I am still playing a little on the weekends here and there. So I keep my playing going, but yeah, it's as of lately, I've been more into trying to tour with another band, and so that's really what I'm looking to do now. But I still have friends that I'll jam around with on the weekends here and there. So
I'm sure you got a lot of connections, probably a lot more than I have in the music industry, I would assume.
I got a couple people I keep in touch with.
It's important to stay in the network, and social media is definitely another important thing that I've learned. Whether or not you like it or hate it, it's kind of a must these days.
Sure. I've made it known online too, and to a couple people. I mean, I can be on a flight out tonight, if somebody needs me or whatever, and that's why where you and I met. That's the whole reason I had that going.
Yeah. All right. Let me get into the next question here. How do you approach the challenge of balancing your artistic integrity with success, with commercial success? Like, how do you, like, for example, staying grounded or staying true to yourself and your own your motives and your original aspirations, or remembering why you started in the first place? How do you keep that balance, and how do you stay grounded? Especially during the time when you were, with bands like StoneSour and Issac.
Yeah. No, I it's really easy to let that part slip. I try to look at everything. I guess I'll give you a good example. We first got StoneSour back up again, and Slipknot had already been there, so we're going to be on the label, and it's fully, we're going now, and I heard a couple members of StoneSour complaining about, I can't remember what it was now, but they were complaining about something, and something they had to do on the road or whatever it was, and I remember thinking to myself, I was like, and I was working at the time, and I'm like, man, you ain't gonna never hear me complain about that. Nuh-uh, not me. But I caught myself. I was like, God, look at that, dude. You were just hauling furniture up 3 flights of stairs at your job just a few months ago, and look at you. So I learned to recognize, appreciate, man, appreciate what you got. It's a lot of people are working, busting their ass, doing a lot of things, and I'm in a tour bus going, man, this again. It's like, but it's easy to let it slip. Yeah. You get it good for that long, and then all of a sudden you forget who you are. I mean, no, I don't think it was that bad, but you know what I mean. It's easy to forget, and then you come home from touring, and the wife's got the garbage bag. Go, here, take this out, would you? And you're like, fuck, where's my drum set?
Right? Yeah. So that transition, obviously you left StoneSour with good reason,
Sure.
and to spend time with your son. And how is that transition from being Joe Rockstar back to being, normal guy that takes out the garbage? I mean, that has to be humbling, right? I mean, to go back
to the
workforce, and I mean, you're a fucking rock star. You know, no matter what how anybody wants to look at it, you're a fucking rock star. You always will be.
Mm.
But it doesn't matter what you're doing now. You're just, maybe in a transition, and that's
Yeah.
what I look at it because you're ready to go, like you said. But how do you adapt to that? I mean, I had to be home
You
all.
know, it. I don't think it's quite as bad as some people think it is. It's you learn to appreciate things, and where in the band you'd get a huge lump sum of money, but you had no idea when you're going to get a penny again. And I mean, there's everything is give and take. And um, so I think a lot of people look at me and go, poor dude, he's got to go to work, but there's a lot worse things. I learned a lot from touring because it really did make me take a step back and look at everything and go, this isn't bad. This isn't a bad thing, and it's not. It's just finding your happiness. They say, your thoughts have a lot to do with it, and you know, you see the touring and you're on stage and the lights and it's great, but I haven't seen my family in how many months now. I mean, you got that angle of it. You got, there's a lot.
Give and take.
But I loved touring though. I did. I loved touring, and thankfully I got to have my wife out with me quite a bit, and that worked. But that was 20 some years ago. I mean, the last time I toured, our manager goes, "Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna create a MySpace page." And I was like, "My what?" And it's like I had no idea what it was, and the guys had to go, "Yeah, it's a thing. And I had no idea. That's how long ago it's been. And now it's like we're doing this. I get to, when I don't have my wife, I'll be able to talk to her on here, and we didn't have any of this.
Yeah.
So it's been that long. But I did love touring, so I'm not trying to act like it was so miserable either. But
I said I can only imagine what it's like to have to, be away from your family for that long. I was thinking about that just recently. I mean, I've done little shit, here and there, but I always get to come back home, and especially like you said about the chemistry too. You got to have good chemistry because if you don't like each other and then you're on that fucking tour bus, you know, and basically all you do is sleep on there, it's like got to be difficult being in such close quarters. I mean,
right,
you got to get along.
yeah,
You guys got to get along somewhat, right?
we did pretty good throughout that first album. We got along pretty well. I think any spats we had were pretty common things. But you got to respect one another. You take your shoes off in the bus, put them in the drawer. Don't just leave them out in the hallway. Just little things. Whose the fuck shoes are these? Just little things. But I think we did pretty well.
Are there any specific musicians that really, other than Tommy Lee, that really have had an influence on your playing? Or how about now? Is there anybody that inspires you now?
I tell you that the band that I've been in lately the most is Paramore.
Okay.
I have just been, I don't know what it is with me, but I love music to death, but I'm horrible at trying out new music. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Because then I'll find something and I love it and I'll listen to the hell out of it. So I don't know why I do that to myself. And then, but I heard Paramore songs. It's, next thing you know, I put everything in and I just start listening to everything. And boy, what a great band. So I've been really floored by them.
Are they heavy?
Yeah, but they have a nice groove to it too. Yeah, they can get aggressive. The bass player is great. The guitar, the drummer, Haley, the singer, is just amazing. Yeah. You never heard Paramore?
No, I have to look. Seriously, I'm old school, bud. I learned about new bands from my teen daughter. Like seriously, I don't listen to any new shit or whatever.
Yeah.
It's accidental. I'll come across it, and
I'm with you.
I'm this biased fucking old guy that I'm in my middle age, and I'm definitely biased, and I'm trying not to be. I'm trying to be more open minded.
Josh Rand from StoneSour made this happen.
Wow.
This is the 1969 Super Bowl. So they signed it to Issac. Now, I don't know any of these names. I mean,
Right.
I'd have to go through and research it.
Yeah. But still,
Um, yeah, it just says Isaac, stay positive.
uh, that's
Yeah,
awesome. No, that's awesome. That's sweet, man.
yeah,
That's the benefits,
yeah,
of, being in a rock band and being a rock star.
yeah, yeah. It's yeah. Josh made that happen. God bless him. He was.
Yeah, that's beautiful, man. So, what is your feeling or opinion on the music industry today? And the direction that it's going. How do you feel about AI in music? Do you have any opinion on that
You
whatsoever?
know, I think AI is going to have its good and its bad. I, I, I'll be honest. I don't know. I was talking to um, he's a bass player of a band that's way more plugged in the industry than I am. And he's like, Joel, every 6 months, this thing changes. It
Yeah,
just constantly changes. So I'm so out of touch. Even in StoneSour, I was playing the drums and that's it. And
yeah.
I let them do that. I don't know. I don't know anything about it. I just don't, especially now. But AI, I know there's going to be a lot of bad from AI, but I think there's going to be a lot of great too. Just hopefully we don't wait too long to get a lot of restrictions on things, to what people could do with it. And
That's the biggest
uh,
thing I think, is the regulation
yeah,
because
yeah,
it has its advantages, and whether we like it or not, it's going in that direction. And
sure,
and a lot of the people that I've spoken to, you either jump on board and you learn to embrace it, or
yeah,
you fight against it. And the best thing I think to do is just go with it, embrace it, and then as a result of that, you need regulations before it gets out of
yeah,
control. You know, when
yeah,
somebody could take your song, StoneSour song, put it up on AI and have it create a totally different song, using your music, you know, and then
yeah,
credit for it, that's enough to piss a lot of people off,
yeah,
especially when it comes to copyrights and shit like that. But
yeah.
so
Yeah,
I
it's insane what I keep hearing like actors and comedians and saying that, and I just ran across this thing and it's me talking about all this stuff and it's nowhere, it's not them at all, but it's just looks and sounds exactly like them.
yeah,
So yeah, I just hope we don't wait till it's too late.
I agree.
Um, yeah,
That's the
so,
importance of it. It's like, almost like when Napster came into the picture, and
yep,
we,
yep,
I mean, we have to be honest. I mean, it did kind of kill a lot of the music industry, I think, unfortunately.
yeah.
It did.
I had a lot of respect for Lars Ulrich after that because the fact that he stood up and did what he did, and everybody was getting so pissed at him, but the band stood behind him and he was doing that. And I get it, to a certain extent, but he was standing up going, no, 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 this isn't right.
Yeah.
And, and, I just felt like nobody was standing with him, but his band was behind him. And I had a lot of respect for Lars after that. I was like, you know what? Even if you don't agree with it, it's hard to stand up against the world when they're against you like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never done it, but
Right.
I was just watching him and going through that. It's like I felt horrible for him, but boy, I had respect for him,
Yeah.
after that.
Yeah, it took me a while, to really wrap my head around it. But at first, when he was doing it, I thought he was just a dick. That it's like you guys are
Sure.
like millionaires, and it's not like.
Yeah.
But then, when you realize the consequences of what's going on and the real impact that it had, then I've learned to have a lot of
Yeah.
respect for standing up back then, and now look at
It,
it.
and we didn't understand how far this was going to go. You didn't, and I didn't either. And that's probably he probably was looking down the road, going, he's trying to hit the brakes now, going, no, you know.
Yeah.
But
And,
yeah,
and it's like, what do you get for streaming? You got to stream a billion, freaking, get a billion hits on a song just to make money on it.
right,
I think I get like
right,
7 cents on every stream. It's like, whoa,
sure.
I make $21 for the month. Yeah.
Woo!
you know, here's a question for you. And I think we kind of covered some of this though, but do you have anything, any current projects or anything future events coming up, or you just staying, kind of available and open to? whatever comes your way right now.
Yeah, I'm playing here and there, just to keep just
But
to keep that going. And then and I'm looking to tour again. Um
edge, huh?
and yeah, so other than that, I'm not interested in forming a new band anymore.
Yeah,
But
it's all like you
but I
said.
always have friends that will jam and have fun, but yeah, so I'm just looking to tour again and to get back out there, and that's pretty much where I'm at.
So,
Um,
what's the best way people can get a hold of you if they're interested in hiring you as
um, I mean, really, I get, I have God, I don't even know what my Instagram is. I have an Instagram, but I also have my email that I always check, Joel Ekman at iCloud.com.
okay? And you
Um,
also have the LinkedIn. That's how I get a hold of you, or vice versa.
yeah. The LinkedIn is fine.
So you got LinkedIn, you got your personal email, you got your Instagram, and so
Yeah.
those are the best ways to get a hold of you. That's cool.
Yeah. But the email, JOELEKMAN at iCloud.com. And is it me, or is everybody just a freaking victim today? Everybody is so violated and it's just too much, you know.
They would have
Uh,
they would have never made it grown up hour, you know. My parents were like, "Go play in the fucking road," you know. Like,
yeah.
get the whip out, you know.
Mhm.
They would have been able to handle that, you know, or competition.
Everybody's just so sensitive, and it
Yeah.
just kills me.
One last,
Yeah.
have any advice for aspiring musicians that or anything that you would like to share, your words of wisdom or anything like that from your experiences?
Yeah. I was working. I was just working with a singer. She's basically a family member from my wife, Lynette. Her name is Paige Pinniger, and she's on Instagram as well. And she's working at forming a band, and something I always give advice to a lot of people is just be yourself and find what it is you do. You know, don't try to go with what everybody's doing, or if the hot thing is this, you know, I always learn with people. I've heard this in movie making too. That if you're not authentic, if you're not yourself, people will smell it off you. They'll know if you're being fake. So just do you. Do what you do, and what you feel comfortable doing, and then just fall in line with that. Um, I've seen too many people just try to everything's jumping over here, so they jump over there. Just stay where you're at, and I really think you'll uh, you'll land a lot of great things just being you.
Yeah,
Um,
that's
at
profound.
least that's been my experience. But yeah,
I think I just wanted to relate to you on that. That I think longevity happens that way too. You know, when you're true to
yeah,
yourself and true to who you are and true to your music, because you'll see
I agree.
a lot of the bands that jumped on the fad, they're gone. You know, where the hell are
Yeah,
they? They disappear
yeah,
as quickly as they come. You know, so I totally 100% agree with you on that statement. I think
yeah.
that's really awesome, Joel. Joel, I want
That's
to.
a great point.
Yeah, I think it
You
is.
can jump on that wave, but once it's gone, now what are you gonna do? Because you already said you're this guy.
Yeah,
Now you gotta go try to be this guy.
like all those hair bands trying to be grunge. Yeah, remember that? Yeah, way back
Yeah.
then. Yeah,
Oh, they just trim it halfway up. They'll be all right.
yes.
Yeah.
But,
But
do you have a charity that you favor? My wife wants to know.
I donate to Make a Wish Foundation. When Isaac was sick, we went to Hawaii on them, and they were uh, a great organization, and I've donated to them every month. Them and St. Jude. I've always been a big believer in St. Jude as well. Um, so yeah, I'm really big into those two, and I donate to both as much as possible.
I think this was awesome, Joel. I want to thank you so much for your time, your consideration. I want to wish you the best on your endeavors.
Thanks, John.
Feel